Alright guys, so as I promised in the soup that I made for Kim, the sweet potato and butternut squash soup, that I would put together my potato soup. This is everything I use in potato soup. In my loaded baked potato soup that nobody can touch, nobody can duplicate. This is one that I've taken a soup recipe and adjusted here, adjusted there. Sometimes my soup might have a little spice, too much spice in it. Sometimes it's just about right. It all depends on how I feel on the day. So we're going to get to work here in a little bit. I'll see you in a little while. Alright guys, here we are. Like I promised, I'm going to make my loaded baked potato soup. We're going to get a little heat on the stove here. First thing we're going to do is render off our bacon. The way I make it, I render off about 2 pounds of bacon, and I'll use that to make my roux to thicken the soup because it gives so much more flavor, better flavor than just plain flour or butter. Alright, I'm going to start off with, I have 2 whole onions chopped up. I'll start off with that in the pan. Get that in the pan. Find me a knife, find me a wooden spoon if I'm lucky. Go over here and grab one. Grab a wooden spoon, do a little bit of stir. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to render down 2 pounds of bacon and onion. I'm going to use the renderings for the fat from the bacon. I'm going to build the roux, and then we'll put everything together and season and make it from there. I guarantee you, you will not have a better loaded baked potato soup than this. So, I'm going to get this rendered down. I'll get all the rest of the stuff together. And I also use on this one here, I use baked potatoes that have been baked the night before. It's a great way to get rid of leftover baked potatoes. Here anymore, I usually bake them the night before, but we were busy doing cookies today, so while we're in the midst of cookies, I baking off the baked potatoes. Put them off to the side and let them cool. While this is rendering down, I'm going to cut these potatoes up and get everything else around ready for the next process. So as soon as this gets rendered down and I get a little seasoning going, get things put together, we'll get back and I'll show you where I'm at. See ya! Alright, so got my bacon rendered. My onions have turned a little bit pretty good translucent. Now, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to take off the heat for a little bit, for a second. I'm going to fold in, or get my flour stirred in. Get my flour stirred in, I'm going to put it back on the heat. I'm going to cook it on low heat for about 5 minutes. Going to get that floury, doughy taste pretty much taken out of it. Might have gotten a little too thick on me already. So the only way I know to combat that, put a little oil to it. Now, got all my bacon rendered, like I said. When you're cooking your roux, you want to keep it, scrape up the sides, scrape up the bottom, otherwise it'll burn up on you. In some instances, a soup like, or sorry, a soup or a stuff like gumbo, you want a darker roux, but this isn't the case for us needing a darker roux. So I'm letting it cook, and I'm kind of keeping it a good constant stir. This is probably the point where I want to take and get my heavy cream out, get my milk out. We're going to get all that put into it. Once it's cooked up, just kind of looking for it to be stiffened. Really all you're going to do is you're cooking the floury taste out of the roux when they want you to continue to cook it for 5 minutes. That's all you're really looking for. Alright, so got that done. I'm going to add my 2 quarts of heavy cream. Some soups, a lot of soups, especially cream-based soups, they start out with some kind of a stock or a chicken stock. I'm not really a big fan, as far as potato soup, I'm not really a big fan of starting out with stock like that. I made it the first time I did it that way. I really didn't care for it. It was good, and most soups when they do stuff like that is good, but I kind of taken the soup and pretty much made it into my own. Everybody does it. So I've gotten that part. I'm going to give it a stir now that I can. I'm going to kick my heat back up a little bit. We're going to let it get nice and hot. We're going to give a little bit of milk to it. And let me grab a measuring cup. Basically, I did 2 quarts of heavy cream. So I'm going to put about 2 cups of milk to it. I'm going to let it get up to temp. After I give it a stir, I'll let this come up to temp. I'm going to add the potatoes to it. I'm going to let it get hotter. And then we're going to put in the rest of the spices, the potatoes. And then once it's hot enough, we'll start mixing in the cheese to it. But while this runs up to heat, I'm going to get the rest of my stuff together. And as soon as we get ready for the next step here in the soup, we'll get back with you. Y'all take it easy. Alright guys, we're almost up to temp. I've got my potatoes and my seasonings added to it. I'm going to let it simmer a little bit. I've just done really a rough cut chop to my baked potatoes. I've left the skin on. I've done that several times in the past. To me, I think it just adds more to the flavor. If you don't want potato skins in your soup, by all means, you can peel them off before you put them in. The only thing I've got left to add to this as it's coming up to temp is I just have a little bit of hot sauce to add to it and some green onion to add into it. Now we'll also garnish the soup with some green onion, but I also like the green onion in the soup because it adds to the flavor of loaded baked potato soup. So I'm going to grab my onions, drop them in, I use one of these all the time in the kitchen. It's basically for dough. I do make bread. I do make pizza dough here at home. So it comes in handy. I use it when I'm scooping up all my vegetables and stuff as I'm cutting and chopping. Just makes things a little easier and a little quicker. So I've got the green onions in. All I've got to get in now is my hot sauce. Once I get the hot sauce in, I'll get it stirred up and I'll give you a look-see. So about a tablespoon of hot sauce. I've also got 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic, tablespoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of fine grind sea salt. Calls for iodine salt. We use sea salt here. To me, it just gives a better flavor on stuff. As this gets hot and comes up to temp, or gets hot enough, I'm going to reduce the temp a little bit to simmer so it doesn't boil over on me as I'm mixing my cheese in. I've also got a little bit of roux made up on the side, just in case it doesn't thicken up for me. But sometimes I have that issue, sometimes I don't with this potato soup. But more than likely not, I won't, because potatoes in soup kind of act like a thickener as well. It's a starch. Even if you can't have the stuff to make a little bit extra roux, you can even use cornstarch. It's basically like making flour butter roux. It'll take on the flavors of whatever you're putting it into. Basically, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, just like butter. If you're going to do 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of flour, it's a 1-to-1. See if I can get the camera picked up here. Kim's at work, so I'm kind of doing this all solo right now. If you hold on, guys, I'll get you picked up here. So here it is. I've got the soup. You can see it's starting to get a little steam going on. Here's my backup roux, just in case it doesn't thicken up the way I really want it to. Let me get you all focused back into shape here. We're about good. It's the only problem running solo. But if we don't go to work, we don't pay the bills, we don't go on cruises. And it's tonight it's supposed to drop down to 21 degrees, and it's about 28, 27 degrees right now outside. So potato soup be very good meal for the day. Now this potato soup, it's a big batch. It'll last us probably the week. The only good thing about this is once it's done, I can put it in a crock pot. We can warm it up or let it simmer all day long, and the flavors just keep getting better and better. So I'm going to let this get even more up to temp. I'm going to find one of my whisks, and once it comes up to temp and I start mixing in the cheese, I'll get back with you guys. Alright, we're up to a good almost boiling temp. I'm going to start slowly stirring in the cheddar. This time around I've got some sharp cheddar to go into it. Most of the time I use mild cheddar. Every once in a while when we get back home to Michigan, I'll get some of the good smoked cheddar that gets made in my hometown. This time we just got some Kraft sharp cheddar. So I'm going to let that hang there for a second. I'm going to get some of our cheese in. And this cheese is going to almost act like a thickener too, a little bit. The more I stir it in, the more I stir up the potatoes. stuff like that, and that's going to release into the soup. It's going to be a nice hearty, thick soup. That's kind of one of the things that Kim and I like to do. We make one pot meals that we can utilize through the week, whether it be chili, some kind of soup. Once in a while, we'll get a like a venison roast out of the freezer. We'll throw in some of our carrots and potatoes and corn that we have canned up. We'll let it simmer in the slow cooker all day. We utilize those things and then utilize it throughout the week. Kind of saves on the grocery bills. Starting to look good now. See if I can get you guys up there a little bit. Alright. As you can see, starting to thicken up nicely. You can see nice chunks of bacon, chunks of potatoes, green onions, everything that you're going to want for a loaded potato. Let me get you back in the base. Let me step over here and make sure I'm lined up. Whoa! Timber. Sorry, guys. I do apologize for the roller coaster ride, but hey, we wouldn't be called hijinks on the sea if we wouldn't have stuff like that going on around here. Alright, so that's 2 cups of the 4 cups of cheese. I may not even need all 4 cups. I think I'm just going to maybe put another cup in. That way we've got a cup of cheese to garnish with yet. So we'll save this over here. We'll get back to stirring. And this just keeps getting a little better. Hey, how can you go wrong? There's bacon, there's cheese, there's green onions, potatoes. Now, I'll admit, not everybody likes potato soup. Now, but everybody probably likes the heavy cream and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that this is a healthy soup, by any means. It's just a good, hearty, cold weather soup that I can do. I've done it several times in some of the restaurants I've worked in. Down in South Carolina, down in here. And it sells out. I can make an 18-gallon batch and sell it out in a day. Especially during college football time. I worked in a restaurant down in Myrtle Beach. It was divided up between Virginia Tech fans, South Carolina, our Gamecock fans, and Clemson fans. And once they realized that I was doing potato soup, the loaded potato soup almost became a regular on Saturday college game days. we're going to let this simmer a little bit, and then I'll dish it up, garnish it up, and we'll get back with you once I'll dish it up, show you how we garnish it. I wish Kim was here to taste it, but she's got to work tonight. I'm home alone, so this is going to be a good dinner. But she'll be able to enjoy it the rest of the week. So I'll catch you guys a little bit. Alright, soup is done. I did end up using all of our shredded cheese, so I had to do a dice up of some cheddar, sliced up some more green onion, so we can garnish this. We're going to bowl it up, give her a taste. I've already gone through and tasted this a couple times. Added seasoning here and here and there. Like I said, this is a good, hearty, wintertime, fall time soup. Now, you can fry up a little bit more bacon, or get some bacon crumbles to help garnish this. So what I'm going to do here, so I've got some chopped up cheddar, a little green onion, and here is our finished product. Looks good, tastes good. The recipe that I have is quite a big batch of soup. I'll have to sit back and or go to the computer, and we'll shrink the serving size down a little bit. Unless you guys are going to want to eat potato soup for the week, or feed your family and your neighbors for soup for the week. But hey, that's not a bad idea. And of course my tripod giving me fits again. Trying out a new camera. There we go. Tried out a new camera today with Kim's cookie recipe and my soup recipe. I'm not sure quite what else we got coming down the pike, but I'm sure we'll think of something. And I guess we'll look forward to meeting with you guys all come the 2020 cruise. Kim and I have our anniversary cruise coming up this May. And I think Kim has got another cruise planned for in November, in between our anniversary cruise and the group cruise of this coming year. So there's at least 3 cruises we got booked up. So I'm going to go see what we got on the TV tonight. Enjoy the soup. You guys enjoy your evening, and we'll catch you next time.